All right, and last in terms of the superhero stuff, let me talk quickly about Justice Society, man. World War II.
Right.
This is the latest Warner Brothers animation and DC Entertainment film. This is actually not based off of a graphic novel or story arc or anything like
Well,
that.
all right. So this supposed to be
Or is
just
it?
quick question. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this, but this supposed to be still part of the working continuity involving the DC animated universe, right?
All right. Well, what I'm reading here, it's part of the DC Universe animated virtual
Animated
movies.
movie universe. So because Flash reset everything at the end of that last one, and we get to see that Superman is the same Superman from the Superman movie we just watched, right?
You mean not Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah, man, not tomorrow.
I assume so.
Right. Okay.
Here's the thing, because this have so much like directors. Like I know it is, Sam Liu's name is always show up and things like that because it have so much directors and actors and animation styles though. You kind of have to think back. Oh well, this does the Superman in Man of Tomorrow look the same way how he does here? Does the Wonder
Well,
Woman here look the way how she did in
no. Well,
Bloodlines?
the
Not
thing is that they
really, but
reset.
you know.
Yeah, they kind of reset everything because Flash went back. You went back and do your Flash thing, and you Flashpoint them back right at the end of that movie with Darkseid in it, right?
Yeah, of Apocalypse War. Yeah,
Right. So I was like, wait, is this the reset? I'm not too sure. I can't follow it at all.
I doubt it. I don't think it had anything to do with Apocalypse War at all. I just think it's just a story that takes place, and we bring it up, the Speed Force and a Flashpoint paradox like event now, just to give it an excuse for. Well, I want you to just do the synopsis as to why Flash is the lead character in this, which
Right.
catch me by surprise. 'Cause I thought it was just gonna be, well, if not Superman, at least Wonder Woman, because she like in front of the poster for this.
Right.
But like, what, Flash is the one who kind of kicked things off. Okay. But anyway, what is this movie about?
Yeah. So it starts off with Flash being, flashing himself out. He go on a picnic with Iris, and he has some drama going on in Metropolis, right? I think they were in Metropolis for some reason. I forget why. And some drama going on. Superman is fighting Brainiac, and Superman is about to be killed by Brainiac or be shot by a kryptonite bullet, and Flash moves so quickly that he but gets sent through. He do some time travel multiverse shenanigans, and he gets sent to basically World War II, where he meets Frank. Well, he meets the Justice Society led by Wonder Woman at the time.
Right.
So it's Wonder Woman leading the Justice Society, and Justice Society was put together by Steve Trevor, but with the instructions from Franklin Roosevelt to fight back the Nazis. And it have some magic chicanery, and not for some reason Superman is there, and it have a whole thing. And yeah, that's it. That's the story. And then they get into all the other characters, so for them to get to solve this problem involving a lot of fighting. And the first 2/3 of this is great. And the third act is a big goddamn letdown. That's my big, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
Yeah.
well, you go on.
Yeah, no. So the first 2/3 of this, I liked a lot. I like the story. I like the setup premise. I like the big reveal that it's not time travel. They explain what's going on. I like that. I was thinking, since they reset it, it works as a kind of a reset of sorts. And then they come up with good reasons as to why they bring in other Justice League members and characters. Like, okay, this is why this character is here, and that's why this character is here. But then they do a big twist with a certain magical person. It's like, all right, he in here. All right, okay. Things getting a little more interesting. And then they just kind of just end it. I'm like, what? Why? Oh God, what are you doing? I can't say I love this. I really wanted to love it, but it was good. They clearly designed Wonder Woman after Gal Gadot. She have a kind of swarthy voice and accent.
Yep.
And her head is oval shaped like Gal Gadot's.
Yeah. And
what's
funny that you bring that up too. There's literally a moment that echoes, the scene where she's fighting the soldiers in that
yeah,
in that rundown
yeah,
town,
same
right?
same thing.
And it
Yeah,
was almost quick to bring up the Wonder Woman team, because you hear
yeah,
that bum bum bum
yeah.
bum bum bum. I like, all right, I see what you're doing there. That's cool, but remember, this is all your show. This is your show. That Patty Jenkins show, right? So yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, no, so yeah, so that's how I feel about it. It's just it good. There's a lot to like, but I real yeah, again so tired of this kind of borderline sequel baity kind of something. Like it doesn't end, and it's not outright sequel bait, but it's still like yeah, you could have ended this a little better. Though. Like what going on? Whatever. Um, good. I liked it. I had fun. But
Yeah.
it had nothing in it I was real blown away by. I didn't really love Our Man all that much. Canary wasn't that interesting. Hawkman wasn't that interesting. He was okay. Steve and Diana had their back and forth, but again, they didn't really do anything interesting with it.
True.
Listen, to
It,
be
it
honest,
was kind of cute to watch though, but
yeah,
still, not really
and to
much.
be honest, I kind of getting fed up of this whole Steve Trevor and Diana thing. Like, come, give Diana a girlfriend already. Now, come on, like do something with this character. Though. Like, it's the same bullshit.
Mm,
But yeah, moving on. It was fine. Action was good. I like how they had Flash and Jay Garrick, trading tips of flashy stuff. I like that. Um, the two of them is like, oh, you could do this, but you could do that with your flash. All of them they just clearly talking to each other with flash powers. Like, all right, cool. I can't be mad at any of it.
yeah, well, just to get to my main gripe with the show though, uh, no Nazi villain though, because why I say
Nah,
that, right? Like, I'm not expecting the show to go all Indiana Jones, right? Which, funny enough, the intro was kind of hinting at, right? With the Nazi regime is looking for all these magical, items, and once they get all these magical items, they can use this to conquer the world, right? Like, I'm glad they didn't go that route. But at the same time, like those indie shows, right? Those indie films, sorry, you had a mean like Nazi bad guy though. In this case, it was just faceless soldiers, right? Who just there and they're supposed to get their ass kicked because they're Nazis, right? And that's why, right? I mean, I know they're Nazis, right? Okay, but still have like, I don't know, some general or maybe a doctor if you want to go back. You know what I mean? If you want to be all Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever it is, but there's somebody, right? But there's the person who they picked to be the main bad, um, did catch me by surprise. We're not gonna spoil who it is, right? But I felt like the reasoning behind it could have been fleshed out a little bit more, and then what they do with the character, just didn't work. It just kind of stops right there. Like, you know what? Yeah, I'm done and I'm gone, right? And that's it, right? And I'll just leave you guys just clean up my mess, basically, right? And speaking of that, though, I felt like the third act, just and I think it's because we just used to just seeing these DC animated shows every single year has to follow that same trend of always some, either it's some big machine or some big gigantic creature, in this case a kaiju, you know,
right.
destroying stuff, or we have like these faceless soldiers who just shooting, just blasting lasers or like that. So we actually get both in this, right? And our heroes have to swoop in and basically just smash and punch and kick their way just to save people, and that's what we get here. I felt for a story like this, which is about World War II, it's in the
Yeah.
title. Could have been about World War II. It could have been about some event that could have changed the,
Yeah.
the, the landscape of
I didn't.
World War II.
Yeah,
But
I didn't.
that would have made sense. So
I didn't
just
see it.
wrap up, right? And
Yeah,
then
this
it would
this
have
is all
make
set.
sense in terms of your time travel shimmy dimmy you want to bring into the film thanks to Flash. But no, it just kind of ends up being all a bunch of superpowered characters just fighting just creatures and soldiers with lasers because it's a DC movie. That's why, It was
Yeah.
just generic as all hell, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I just see it as a setting just to set up this thing. Like the World War II thing was just a setting. I didn't need a Nazi villain necessarily. Because when they reveal a certain character, a certain character with the Ankh involved in, I was like, okay, it have more to go with this, right? And remember, you saw him guiding Flash when he was doing his time travel thing going on. It's not really time travel, you know what? They reveal
Yeah,
what it is.
it's a speed force and
Right,
that
right.
stuff.
But it's not.
Right.
You didn't go back in time, right? But whatever. But as it is, I just was just not I doesn't understand why it is that it didn't go further with that if you're employing that, and we didn't get that.
Yeah,
We didn't get
I
that.
agree. It
Yeah,
was I was surprised to see that character in the first place.
yeah.
And it could have just gone there, but it was like, oh well, no, it was
So I
just
thought,
to go here and see the
yeah,
real
because
villain, right?
I thought when they was going to introduce another character, when they introduced another character, another big Justice League figure, oh, it's like, okay, that's why he part of this, because that character also connected to that world. Well, I'm just going to kind of spoil it. Magic, right? He also connected to Magic too. So it's like, okay, they're doing something here. And no payoff. Sorry. Like, guys, come on. This is you can't be doing this borderline sequel bait stuff. Give us a good story. As I said,
Exactly.
good first two thirds. First two acts, solid, great.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. As I
Right.
say, yeah,
But just a couple things before we get to Rita, right? The good. The voice acting is solid as you would expect in shows like this, right? It does fall into the dialogue, into the whole character A would see this, and then there would just be like this weird 3 or 4 second gap before character B says something. They do that often in this show here, and I realize it's just a thing with these DC shows. Not saying like it's overly sloppy or anything like that, but like when you like real diving into the dialogue, it could feel kind of off. Like it's almost like we have to have that gap of silence because you know the character, you know what's being said, so it's it's subtext or whatever it is, right? Nuance, whatever it is. But this kind of comes off like okay, we just kind of want them to sound real, but we just piece it out and it sounds awkward, right? But whatever. The actress who plays Wonder Woman, I thought that she was good as well. And she kind of deals this pseudo Gal Gadot voice as well, which
right,
fits
right.
as well. Um, but yeah. Also,
I,
I
I,
thought that
I,
sorry.
I didn't care about Canary or Hawkman. Like, oh, Canary and Hawkman together. Okay, that's a thing. All right.
Yeah, and there was like this moment where they're talking about the relationship, and I was like,
Yeah, like, all right.
okay, all right,
I didn't
okay.
know like Canary because they tried to hint that it was Catman she was with. Like, if it was Catman there with them, all right, okay, Canary and Catman, all right, I kind of get that. But and well, I don't imagine it would have any Oliver. But then they brought in Clark Kent and Superman in this. So like, wait, what? He in this? So it's a different world? Okay, they
Yeah,
didn't pay
and
that off.
even that I felt they could have done more with
Or
it
with that,
because
yeah, exactly.
I I understand why he was there at this point in time. That's all you'll see. But like when he does show back up, I mean, not a surprise. I mean, it's freaking Superman, right? It's like yeah, but oh gosh, man, like it take you this long to do this? That's all you'll see. And this kind of feels like, all right, but well, why though? Like I kind of get like okay, but what he brings up though kind of makes it kind of have you thinking, okay, is this the real Earth? Like this, is this Earth one or am I on some other Earth, right? Whatever it is. But this kind of leaves it open and just forgets about it for a while and brings it up near the end. I was just like, why though? Yeah. As far as the main body though, yeah, I wouldn't lie though, it did catch me by surprise.
Yeah,
But I felt they could have done more with it though, especially with what was going on behind the scenes basically, and where they just kind of leave it like, oh well, all right, well, better luck next time. It's just like, well, why do? And then the third act was just okay. We just have to have the cliche bad guys try to take over city and destroying stuff, and have the heroes come and destroy things. And sorry, Steve the day. I won't lie though. See what you want about Canary. She actually do something real cool in that fight though. I will give her that. I'll give her that.
yeah.
It was cool. It was really really cool. But other moments with other characters and when they left off at that moment, it's like been there, seen that. Okay, don't care. Moving on. Last thing I will say though, I do like the ending of it, like the ending,
Yeah.
and I would say the payoff in terms of with that moment with Flash and Superman early on. I thought that was solid. That was like it's simple to the point, but that was to the point, haha, right? But yeah, that was a great payoff in my opinion. Like, ooh, okay, wow, you know what I mean? But as a whole, I do appreciate its old-fashioned take on the DC superhero formula. Like it's not as bloody or brutal as violent as you would expect. Yeah, even from a PG-13 rated DC film now. Which yeah, this is a DC sorry, this is a PG-13 as well, right? Yeah, it does harken back to old matinee stuff. I actually thought that they were going to maintain it, from the great opening in my opinion. Even right down to some great choice in terms of font and all that kind of stuff. That was really cool. I really felt they could have done a bit more with that. But other than that, though, for what it is, it's fine. It's entertaining enough. I watched it. I liked certain things. I didn't like certain things. But this really isn't one that I'm gonna go back to in a hurry. I probably wouldn't go back to this one at all. But I would say like if you just have fun and you just love just seeing any incarnation of Wonder Woman or Superman or whatever it is, you'll enjoy this. You'll enjoy this. But I just felt in terms of the World War II scenario, they really could have done because they were doing enough and they were doing good, right, with the first two extra. But in that last one, it was just like you could have copy and paste that. I literally felt like they just copy and paste from one of the from one of the previous films, and just say, hey, but it's in World War II. But believe me, if you went to this blind, not knowing where this was set, it would have just felt like any other DC animated film.
Yeah.
So rating wise, like Tree Man, it's alright. It's alright for what it is, man. If you have the do watch it. If you're just looking, if you just want to see some superhero shenanigans, watch it. But really, given the material, they could have done so much more. And last thing I'll say, which is funny because it feels like this probably was from a graphic novel. Like I thought it was that going in, right? Even when I saw the first trailer for it, like this was from some graphic novel or some spin-off or something like that, right? Like some Silver Age, something like that, right? But no, it's like an original story, but you could tell they drawing from older material now. But I don't know. I feel in this case, which is funny, they should have just picked a story, like an existing story in DC Comics, or whatever, and just made a film out of that. Instead of just kind of trying to half-ass a story, basically, right? Which
Yeah.
unfortunately is what happened here. So that's it. Final words, Rita.
Yeah, as I said, they really could have done a better job with the conclusion. Like they should have had just a better conclusion, just tied together a little better. It started okay. It set up a good premise. So I was like, okay, a reset. And I still thinking is this supposed to be part of the same continuity now? Like it's just a reset now from following from the Superman that we saw the other day. So I was like, all right, cool, we doing something. Nope. There's kind of a really weak payoff, and it just felt like kind of borderline sequel BT stuff, in my opinion. Still dug it for what it was. Reluctant, very reluctant 7, but it's more like a 6 in my head, right? But 7, I'll give it the 7. It's fine. Had some good
Yeah.
action sequences.
Right. Last thing last, right? Please, y'all do hate on me. I'm just curious. I'm just wondering. Um, So okay, so clearly there's an audience for films like this. Clearly people just can't wait for the next direct to video DC film and all that. But you don't think by now it's kind of worn its welcome out? Like okay, like if every single year we had to get two of these films, at least could there be something that kind of matters instead of just being like these
Yeah.
throwy stories or just
Exactly.
what
I,
ifs,
I I'm so
I don't
annoyed.
know.
I'm so annoyed that they started the DC animated movie universe. I really don't like it. It ultimately didn't pay off in anything. I kind of like some of it, some episodes, some was okay, but most of it is just a kind of waste of time, Joe, to be honest.
Yeah, and I feel like we gone from the era. Like, remember the era when you used to have TV shows and you used to get movies out of them? Like, remember back in the days when we had Mark the Phantasm? And like stuff like that where it was based off of a TV show. It's like, oh my god, you seen the movie to the TV show. Like you don't even do that, Dread. It's just movies that kind of just part of some universe, I guess. That's how it feels like to me, Dread. You know what I mean? Like we really need to go back to like this show that on CW or I don't know, Cartoon Network or whatever. Here's a movie for it and here's a sequel for it. You need to go back to that, man. So just well, let's just pick another graphic novel and make a film out of it. It's kind of tiring now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, this is Matthew Bailey, and I hope you've enjoyed this segment of the BS Beats and Bailey podcast. If you'd like to hear the full episode, hit up my link tree. On the other side of my head are 2 videos you can check out. Like this video if you like it, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell as well. Thanks for listening, and until the next one, take care. Peace.